This chapter is all about the properties of addition, and we really have to make sure that we have those down concrete and that we understand what they are and can give examples of them. So let's start with the commutative property. Remember, commute in class we've talked about when you commute, you exchange places, right? So it says write a sample problem, which is funny because you can't actually write one, you have to have two. So let's do 2 plus 6 equals 8. Now remember, for commutative property, we switch the add-ins. So then it would be 6 plus 2 equals 8. So you have to have two equations. Otherwise, you can't show the commutative property. You can't show they've switched if you've only written them once. Let's do another one. 25 plus 26 equals 51. That's terrible handwriting. So now I'm going to do 26 plus 25 equals 51, right? We switched our add-ins, and that is the commutative property. All right, so associative property. Remember that we talk about our associate being our partner. And so for the associative property, we partner together numbers. We don't change the order of our add-ins, but we just have different partners. Let's do 3. Let's just do 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's 12. And let's say these two are partners. Okay, they're associates. Now I'm going to write my add-ins in exactly the same order, but I'm going to give that 4 a different partner. Now this time, the partner is going to be partnered with 5. 5 plus 4 is 9 plus 3 is 12. I kind of forgot to tell you that, didn't I? 3 plus 4 is 7 plus 5 is 12. Let's do one more. Remember, associative is all about partners. We don't change the order of the add-ins. Let's do 10, 5, and 6. All right, so I know that 10 plus 5 is 15, plus 6 is 21. So now I'm going to write down my add-ins in exactly the same order. 10, 5, 6. Now that 5 is going to get a new partner. I know that 5 plus 6 is 11, plus 10 is 21. Okay, so all we're doing is giving them different partners. Okay, identity property, my favorite, right? Let's do a big one just to be silly. 1,000 plus 0 equals 1,000, right? Because any time we add 0 to a number, that number does not change its identity. That number does not change who it is. 27 plus 0 equals 27, right? The 27 did not change its identity. Now today's lesson is going to be dealing with 3 add-ins. And so we need to think of some easy ways that we can use to add. So I have this problem written here. So I'm going to add this up. Whenever I can make a double or a 10, I like to do that. And here I can take this 5 ones and these 5 ones and add them together and get 10. Okay. But I'm not finished, right? I've got to add those 4 ones to it. What is 10 plus 4? Right, it's 14. I can't have 14 ones, so I'm going to have to send a 1 over here, right? And I could add it to any of these 10s. I would still get the same answer because it doesn't matter the order you add in. So 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay, so 4 plus 1 is 5, and then I have to add that one to it. 5 plus 1 is 6. So that should be 64. Now you guys learned in the last lesson that we can always subtract to check our answers. I'm actually going to re-add this just to make sure that I haven't made a dreadful mistake, right? So that's 10, 14, 10 or more, send them next door, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, we are right. It's often a good idea to check your answers. So what I did for this problem, I did the associative property, right? Because I saw that, let me grab a highlighter. I saw that I could use 5 and 5 to make 10, right? And I just ignored that 4, 1 there, the 4 ones for just a second so that I could make a double stacked. Okay, so I used commutative, not commutative, associative property to add that. So let's do, actually, I think I'm going to use associative property again. Because look, I see that 8 plus 2 is 10. Okay, so then I have 10 plus 5 is 15. Regroup. So now I have 7 plus 1 is 8. 2 plus 3 is 5. So 135. Now, I chose the associative property because I could see that 8 and 2 would make a 10. Let me switch these up a little bit. Well, first let me explain. We all know how important explaining is in 3rd grade math. I chose the associative property because I could use 8 and 2 to make a 10. We have to really be able to put our choices into words for 3rd grade math. I know, it's hard, isn't it? I chose the associative property because I saw that 8 plus 2 equals 10. So we can still put some numbers in there. We just have to be able to explain with words. Okay, so let's try another one. I do see a 10 on this one. I see 6 and 4 make 10. So then that gives me, oh my gosh, look at that, 2 10s. 3 and 7 make 10. Oh, good golly, Miss Molly. 10 plus 10 is 20. 10 or more, send them next door. Now, I can't just send 1 10 next door, right? I've got to send 2 10s next door. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 5, 5 plus 3 is 8. And 3 plus 8 is 11. Plus 4 is 15. So that should be 150. Wow. Pretty cool. All right, let's jump in and start trying some more. Here's where it's super important that you be able to tell the difference between the commutative and associative property of addition. Okay, so for the commutative property, we know that we just switched the order of the add-ins, right? 16 plus 9, 9 plus 16. They equal the same because all we've done is switch the add-ins. And then, of course, the associative property of addition, we have the same numbers in the same order, but we switch the partners. Okay? So let's look at an example problem, and then I'll do some with you so you can get started on your work. It says Mrs. Gomez sold 23 cucumbers, 38 tomatoes, and 42 peppers at the farmer's market. How many vegetables did she sell in all? So in all tells me that I'm adding. So I need to find 23 plus 38 plus 42. Okay, so the first thing that they did was made sure they lined up their numbers really nice and straight. Here are all the ones, here are all the tens. So that's step 1, just making sure that your numbers are lined up. Okay, step 2, we are grouping together numbers to make it easier to add. So they saw that 8 plus 2 was 10, right? And then 10 plus 3 is 13, right? So they put their 3 ones, 10 or more, send them next door. Okay, now they're going to do the same thing, except now instead of making a 10, they're going to try to make doubles. Okay, 5 plus, which actually does make a 10, doesn't it? 5 plus 1, 4 plus 1 is 5, and 2 plus 3 is 5, and 5 plus 5 is 10. Okay, and what they did, this was the associative property, right? Because they chose different partners for numbers. So 23 plus 38 plus 42 is 103. Mrs. Gomez sold 103 vegetables in all. Let's look at another one. Okay, so we're going to move down here and let me show you some examples. We're going to solve this twice, but we should get the same answer for both. Okay, so let's look at step 1. Step 1, they just lined up the numbers nicely, right? Our 1s and our 10s. I'm going to go ahead and add these together. Okay, so 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 4 is 15, regroup. 4 plus 1 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7, so 125. Now let's look at what they've done to the add-ins. Here we started with 46, then it was 55, then it was 24, but now I notice 55's on top. What number is missing from what add-in is missing? Right, 46. So this is commutative property already, I know that, because they've changed the order of the numbers. Now, let's make, okay, 10 plus 5 is 15. Regroup. That's 6. That's 6. And so I got 12. Boom. So I know I did it right. Now, this is the commutative property. Look at that tiny blank. Isn't that ridiculous? How am I supposed to write commutative on that? Okay. Now we have the same numbers, but we're going to solve it a different way. Now, I'll be really honest. At first, I did not see what they did. I didn't see it at all. I really had to look at this. Okay, so 6 plus 4 is 10, right? And then they did 2 plus 4 is 6. Okay. Except they did these as 10s, so this is 40 plus 20 is 60, right? And then 60 plus 10 is 70. That's where that number's coming from. That really confused me at first, okay? So 20 plus 40, these are 10s, right? So they have a value of 40 and 20, and that's where my 60 comes from, and then I put 10 with it, okay? And so then they put it over here. Okay, so that's where that 70 comes from. And then we've not added the 55 anywhere, so now we just need to add 5 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. So we got the same answer. Oh, I forgot to answer it over here. It's kind of weird to answer it over there because of the way that they did it. So let's see. So that's 15. You know what? I'm going to be real honest. I don't know where to go from here. Okay, so we've got 10. We've got our 70. I guess we have to come up with a new number, right? Because, well, if I send my 10 over, let's do that. Okay, and so then I have, this is 10, right? It has a value of 10, and then that has a value of 50, so that would be 60, and 60 plus 60 is 120. Yeah, I don't like that. That's not. Okay, but this, when we see it like this, we're not going to do it like that. That is, if I'm a grown-up and I got confused on that, now I can see what they did here. This makes sense to me. They just added these two numbers together and got 70. Okay, I get that. This No, I don't know about that. This is the associative property, okay? Because they made partners and they combined those partners, and then we're adding two different numbers together, okay? So, that's the associative property. Now, the good news is I don't think we have to do any like that on our assignment. Let's look at one we're going to have to do actually on paper. So this is what the problems that you'll solve will be like, okay? And you don't have to automatically just try the associative property, or you don't have to automatically try the commutative property. In fact, you can do the associative property without having to do it the other way. Here's what I mean by that. Okay, so I'm going to do 13 plus 26 plus 54. Now notice I've lined up my one. You can't see what I'm doing. Whoops! I've lined up my ones and my tens. Not perfectly, but pretty nicely. Okay, and so associative property would be like this. Okay, so 6 plus 4 is 10. So basically what we're doing is just adding these two numbers together. Okay, and so I'm going to send my 10 next door, right? 10, 6, 7, 8. So then I would have 80 plus 13. 0 plus 3 is 3, 93. Okay, you do not have to do it that way, boys and girls. I just need you to know that I have just partnered these numbers together here. Okay, let me show you the way that I would do these, and I figured the way that most of you will do them. Now, just to show the commutative property, I'm going to reverse the order here. I'm going to put 54 on top with 26 and then 13. Okay, I wanted my 6 and my 4 to be together strategically because I know that 6 plus 4 is 10. Now, 10 plus 3 is 13. 10 or more, send them next door. So 5 plus 1 is 6. 2 plus 1 is 3. So I did get the same answer either way. Okay, you do not have to do this strategy at all. Okay, I'm just showing you that it works. I got the same answer both ways, and that is the way that the associative properties of addition work. All right, so let's just do another. Oh, my goodness, look at all those add-ins. There are 4 of them. Okay, so we have 57 plus 62 plus 56 plus 43. Okay, I'm just going to jump in and start adding. Because I don't see a 10. I don't see a double. 7 plus 2 is 9. Oh, hey, look, I'm going to end up with a double. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. 10 or more, send them next door. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 plus 5 is 11. 11 plus 6 is 17. Plus 4 is 21. 218. Okay, so that's all you have to do there. Let's just double check and make sure my addition is correct. I'm just going to switch them up a little bit, okay? So let's just go backwards. I'll do 43, 56, 62, 57. Okay, that's 9, that's 9, that's 18. 10 or more, send them next door. That's 10. 16 plus 5 is 21. Okay, so that's all there is to it. All you have to do is add the numbers together, okay? I'm not worried about the associative property. It really would be a good idea if you wanted to add them one way and then reverse the numbers for the commutative property and check your addition. I recommend that. That could be a great way to ensure that you have added correctly. But that's all there is to it for this round, guys. All right. May the force be with you.